Now is Clarissa Jeffery, who spent her childhood struggling with mental health issues, and the psychotherapist Lucy Beresford, who's also a regular on this show. Ladies, it's great to have you on the programme tonight. And Clarissa, a special welcome to you as well, because it's your first time talking publicly on television about such an issue which is close to your heart. So you're very brave indeed. Thank you for coming on. Tell us about your experiences growing up as a child.
I first started struggling with an eating disorder and depression in the first couple of years at secondary school.
So you were 11, 12?
Yeah. And it was my teachers that noticed what was going on. And they did everything like above and beyond what they could have done. I mean, I didn't know what was going on, I didn't understand, and I didn't really want help either.
And that's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm sure when people approached you and your family and teachers and worried friends, what would you say to them?
What now?
Well, no, when you were that age,
Yeah.
would you say, "Oh, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong"?
Oh, yeah. I'd just try and hide it, and it was all such a secretive
And why was
thing.
that, do you think? Looking back now you're in a much stronger place.
Yeah.
Why do you think you tried to cover it up?
I think I was really ashamed, and part of me still is, but I'm learning to tackle that, and I really think that it's really hard to accept that something's going wrong for you, and it's not how I thought my life was going to turn out to be, but I'm trying to make the best out of it.
And you're so young still. You've just turned 20, so you've just left your teenage years behind.
Yeah.
What have you learned? Because I know you're in a much happier, stronger place now, and you're getting a lot of help. What have you learned?
I've learned so much. I'm just a completely different person now. I talk to my family, I talk to my friends, and I can communicate, which I never was able to do before. So it's just such a different life for me, and I never thought it was possible.
It's fantastic to hear that. Let's bring you into this now, Lucy. I know there are lots of people who are watching who have a very similar story to Clarissa. Yeah. Is it getting worse? Do you think there's a problem in terms of children coping with serious mental health issues in this country?
Yes, and there are so many pressures on children at school, and also there might be expectations within the home to be a happy child, to have a happy childhood. And I think it's very interesting that the research shows that parents too feel very uncomfortable about putting their hand up and saying, my child needs help. But as Clarissa has brilliantly pointed out, sometimes it's the teachers who spot it, because children are growing. They haven't necessarily got the vocabulary or even the wherewithal to make the link between what they're feeling and how to articulate it. So it needs to be a collaborative approach to enable children to feel they've got somewhere to go, that they've got permission to speak, and that the people they're talking to can really help them.
Why do you think some parents feel embarrassed about this? You know, maybe approaching a teacher saying, I think my child needs some help.
I think some parents worry that they will be blamed for this. There are so many ways in which parenting influences your child, but parents have to recognise that many times this isn't about them. It might be about other things. It could be about pressures at school, or it could be things that the child is struggling with internally just on their own. And that actually the best thing you can do as a parent is help your child to get some help, to recognise it as a problem. Because of course, as an adult psychotherapist, I see the long-term effect of someone not being heard or listened to as a child. They come to see me in their 20s, 30s, 40s, sometimes older, and say, I wish someone had taken my emotional distress seriously.
And Clarissa, what would you say to people who are watching? What's your message to them tonight if, you know, they're worried about their children or children who are at school who would like to talk to someone?
I'd definitely encourage them to talk to anybody that they feel comfortable talking to. And sometimes it can be no one that's like a really big part in your life. It could be just a friend who you have one lesson a week with. I mean, just managing to communicate that something isn't right is just such an important step, because it breaks the silence. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. You've done a great job, and it's very nice to meet you and hear your story. And we're glad that you're in a much stronger place these days. And Lucy, as ever, thanks for your advice.